Testing. I was saying, okay, boys, welcome back to it's been a very long time since I last took video, any kind of video in front of the camera, right? So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to doing that again, right? So if you see anything funny happening to me, right, just put up with that. All right, now for this series of videos, what we are going to do, right? We are going to talk about chapter 22, in which if you've been paying attention in our lessons, you will know that this is going to be one of the most important chapter. Actually, not one of the most, is actually the most important chapter in the whole DSC syllabus, at least for your macroeconomics, okay? Now, for this chapter, we're going to look at two broad concepts, right? In which under these two broad concepts, we have some sub-concepts under each of them, right? We call fiscal policy and monetary policy, okay? 好啦，咁即係有啲咩嘢啊？原來你見啦，哇，fiscal policy 都好長啦。When we talk about fiscal policy, we first talk about taxation, in which in this video, we're going to talk about basic principles of taxation, right? And then we talk about classification and the effects of taxation, right? And then later on, we're going to look at what exactly is our public expenditure and what kind of budget are we talking about, right? 原來每年有預算啊，究竟我使多啊，使少啊 ，it's going to affect, right? How much you're going to spend and how much you're going to get. It's going to affect the performance of the economy, okay? 好嘛 And then we talk about some examples of fiscal policies, okay? On price level and output level, and actually it's more than just price level and output level, right? When we go to there, you will know we have four objectives that we have to balance. And then we do the same, exactly the same with monetary policies, okay? We will look at what kind of tools are available to carry out monetary policies and what are the effects on price and output level. Again, we're going to balance, we are not just going to balance price and output level. In fact, we're going to balance two more. Okay, so in total, there are four objectives that we have to balance out. Okay, and finally, we take a brief look at the monetary policy in Hong Kong, which, by the way, is quite atypical, not very typical, 係咪？唔 typical 㗎，我哋係好唔典型㗎。Okay, why? Largely because of a policy we call the linked exchange rate system. 我哋原來有聯繫匯率啊。Okay, so you already can tell this is going to be a very long series of videos that lies ahead of us, right? So for this video, let's start with the easier topic, the very first one, when we talk about the basic principles of taxation. But before that, let's have a brief look at page 60 of your textbook, okay? 咁啊，我哋去第60版啦。So what exactly is a fiscal policy? Simply put, fiscal policy is the manipulation of government expenditure and government taxation, okay? 佢使幾多錢，佢收幾多錢啊 okay? We manipulate their revenue and their expenditure in order to affect the performance of the economy. Okay, now let us first start with taxation. 我哋支持啲先講，我哋講咗 T 先好嘛？ Now taxation, before we can talk about the collection of tax, right? First, we need to understand there are four basic principles put forth by the father of economics. You know 咧，我哋經濟學之父啊，Adam Smith 亞當史密夫啊 ，OK。He put forth four principles to so-called effective taxation. Okay, the four principles are as follows, right? Equity, certainty, convenience, and economy. Now you see here, I already have some remark, right? In terms of equity, most of the time in real life, okay, most of the time it cannot be met, okay? 絕大多數情況咧 ，equity 係跟唔到㗎 ，OK？ 一陣間解釋，好嗎？ Now let's look at the four principles. What are they? Okay? Now I suggest let's look at it from a descending order. Okay? 我哋倒轉嚟睇好嗎？ Let's start with convenience and economy. In fact, they mean the same thing. 其實呢兩樣係講緊同一樣嘢。Only that it talks about the principle from two different perspectives. 有兩個唔同嘅 Sorry, my mic dropped. Okay, we just talk about from two different perspectives. Okay, the first perspective we talk about from payer perspective. 俾稅嗰個人嘅角度 we call this the principle of convenience. OK， 咩東西咧？原來啦，解嘅 the method of paying tax, okay, and processing tax returns should be as convenient as possible. 嗱呢度啦，佢就話啦 ，for both taxpayer and government, OK， 一定要夠方便 ，OK， 即係講得簡單啲啦。This one easy to do. Economy, we talk about costless, OK， 講緊成本啊。The principle of economy states that the collection and processing of tax, okay, needs to be cheap, basically, right? Cheap. Okay, 得唔得？你都知啦。Convenience, we are talking about easy to pay and collect. Okay, easy to pay and collect. Economy, we are talking about cheap to collect and pay. 嗱，唔係講緊啲 tax cheap 啊，係講緊收 tax 係 cheap 啊。Okay, don't mix up. Okay, 好嘛 ？So these two principles, right? In modern society, it's quite easy to match these two principles, right? For example, nowadays we can pay tax through 7-Eleven， 我哋去 7 交稅又得。And then we can also use online banking， 係咪？原來而家啦，好簡單，攞起部手機。撳兩個掣 ，OK， I press several buttons already can pay tax, very easy to pay， 所以啦好簡單 ，convenience right， 咁啊 of course government right， press one button to check whether you pay or not right， also easy， also cheap right， 係咪？而家我拿起部機撳兩個掣俾稅，好容易嘅咋 ，very cheap doesn't cost me a lot of money or time，OK，same for the government，OK，so convenience and economy， 好啦，上面兩個啦。Now, the second one is called certainty, the principle of certainty. 嗱，呢個照字面解就知道啦，係咪啊 ？The amount of payment, the how you can pay tax should be known in advance， 係咪啊？要神咁早知係俾幾多稅嘅，我點樣俾稅嘅 ？Very easy. Go to the internet to check. So easy to understand， 係咪啊 ？In fact, for me， 原來我啊而家已經知我下年。同埋下兩年交幾多稅㗎啦 ？I already know how much tax I need to pay because there is a tax calculator online. OK， 好嘛？嗱 ，finally the principle of equity. OK， 嗱，小心啲啊！呢個字面咧，字面解同埋佢實際嘅意思有啲唔同㗎。OK， 好嘛 ？Equity 嗱 ，sometimes you see also known as equality， 唔緊要嘅 ，equity 又得 ，equality 又得，唔緊要嘅，好嘛？ In proportion to their income, right? The tax burden should be fairly distributed. 但係咧，原來佢咧 exactly 喺本書啊，in the Wealth of Nations 係咪？佢國富論裡面咧，其實有講啊。OK, in order to be in line with equity, OK, it has to be proportional tax。一定要係 proportional tax 先得啦。好啦，咁香港咧就死咗啦。OK，if we talk about Hong Kong, in Hong Kong there is only exactly one proportional tax. In Hong Kong would be property tax. 原來你租樓出去俾嗰個先係 proportional tax. All other taxes is either progressive or regressive， 即係香港只係得一個稅種啫。OK， 得唔得 ？So this one be very careful, OK， 自己小心啲啦，好嘛 ？OK， now with that said, now let's very briefly look at some past paper examples, OK？ For those from X3, you should already have these notes I've uploaded on Google Classroom, OK？ So let's go to page 1。嗱，唔講啦，自己睇啦，好嘛？自己睇啦，好嘛？Now here, let's see, right? Example. The first example, the payment of salary tax and profit tax can be made by PPS， 係嘛？呢個都 out 晒 date 啦。我而家唔知有冇 PPS 啊，係嘛？ By which taxpayers can transfer money from their bank account to the government, right? This practice satisfy。哇，好啦，可以攞 PPS 嚟到俾，唔使自己衝過去俾喎。呢個係咩 principle 啊 ？This one, of course, would be the convenience 係咪啊？好方便啊，撳個掣交咗稅啦。OK， Now, second question, suppose the government of an economy announced that the people may have to pay a general sales tax of 2% of the selling price 係咪啊？呢個咧香港當年都講咗好耐㗎，係咪 ？Even Hong Kong with a heated discussion whether we should have this GST or not. Obviously, it doesn't exist yet. 係咪到而家都未有㗎？係咪啊？好啦 ，also launches 呢度串錯咗啊 ，launches a series of programs to make sure that the public understand the new tax。好啦，你見啲字啦，佢想講啲咩 ？Understand 係嘛？我係要明白佢嘅。And it is clearly 2%，唔使估2%。of selling price， 即係100蚊，俾幾多稅啊？2蚊咯。Very easy to understand, very easy to ascertain the amount。好啦，咁呢個叫咩 principle 啊 ？This one definitely will be our certainty principle。OK， 得唔得？好 ，next one。Next one， 好啦 ，Hong Kong citizens are allowed to make their tax payments through the internet。嗱，頭先一講到 internet 即係咩意思啊？上網大家都知㗎啦。Very convenient. You can do that even during lesson 係咪啊？有啲人應該笑緊啦，係咪上緊？阿 Sir， 我上緊堂都喺度做緊㗎啦，係咪啊 ？So very easy to do it. Convenience，OK， 好嘛？好，跟住 practice paper。Inland Revenue Department 我哋嘅稅局啦，係咪啊 ？Will inform every taxpayer the amount。你見到啦，有呢啲字咩 amount 啊 ，inform 啊，咁即係講緊邊個啊？係咪？即係講緊邊個 ？Either by mail or by e-tax account 是第一個啦。This principle 好啦，你已經知道晒啦，即係咩意思啊 ？Certainty 咯，係嘛 ？Certainty 咯 ，OK， 好嘛？嗱。What about the last question before we end this video, right? Let's see. Now it says in July 2009, which is 14 years ago. 哇，原來14年啦，咁就，原來交到去14年前咯。Introduce an environmental levy of 50 cents， 而家仲係唔係5毫子啊 ？No, nowadays already $1，而家咧係收1蚊啊！冇戇居居細聲，5毫子咯咁樣，我笑你㗎會。OK， 得唔得？嗱，50 cents on each plastic bag。你阿 Sir，I can see the amount， 即係使唔使估啊 ？No need to guess. This is the principle of 哇，打佢啲咩 ？Certainty。OK， 中咗。On each plastic bag at retail level, okay, with first bag 唔知啦嚇，係咪 ？Customer can pay the levy with the original amount by credit card, EPS or cash。喂，有咁多唔同嘅方法啦。So what kind of principle? This one we are talking about convenience 係咪好方便啊？喂，唔止喎，其實係嘛 ？If you can pay by credit card, pay by cash, no need to go to Inland Revenue Department， 唔使特登搭車過去喎。除咗 convenience, right? It's also quite costlessly, right? So this one economy principle, okay? So least in line with which one is actually equality 嗱，但係唔好喺度停住。你阿 Sir B、C、D 唔啱咪 A 啱咯 ？No. Try to explain why A is least in line. In fact, boys, this one goes way back to chapter 14， 我哋嗰陣時咧勁啱講過 regressive tax 啊。If you still remember, okay, if you still remember 50 cents， 李嘉誠買個袋又係5毫子 ，OK？ Li Ka-shing buy a plastic bag 50 cents。Liu Chen buys a plastic bag also 50 cents。OK？ 李嘉誠5毫子跌咗都唔執啦 ，Liu Chen 5毫子跌咗一定執㗎。OK？It takes up a larger percentage, okay, for the poorer people. The tax takes up a larger percentage of wealth. OK， 得唔得？佔佢比例高啲啊嘛。So this one is actually a regressive tax, which is not in line with principle of equality or equity. Because if you remember, equality or equity must be proportional tax. OK， 得唔得？ And here we are. We have finished the first subchapter of principle of taxation 未完嘅。Later on, when we talk about taxation in Hong Kong, there is one additional principle, not by Adam Smith, but applies to Hong Kong. Okay, but then I will see you in the next video in which we will talk about some classifications of taxation and the effects of taxation. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.